Hymies has been a store in Minneapolis since Hymies himself started it 27 years ago, I think. And he owned it until 2000, and when he died. It was taken over by a couple ladies who worked for him, and then my husband and I took over the store 4 years ago on Record Store Day, actually. We lived in the neighborhood, and we didn't want to see our local shop closed, so we quit our full-time jobs and took over. I was 8 months pregnant with our daughter, and my son was a year and a half old. It was a very impulsive, crazy thing to do, but it was a really great thing to do. And then the year following that, we actually closed. We had a big show on Record Store Day in 2010, was that right? And we closed that day, the day after Record Store Day, to move the store to our current location right here. So we're located next to a great, local cafe and hardware store. There's a grocery store going in across the street, so it's nice to be next to a couple different local independently owned businesses. We live in Minneapolis. It's a great place to own a record store. There are so many good record stores in town, and we're really fortunate because that means we have a really good local collecting community, a ton of natural-born customers who have been collecting for so long that they would be surprised if all the record stores went away. There's been an influx. Actually, there was a store that opened a startup just a few years ago. A couple great ones have closed in the last years, but we still have a really vital community. We have the Record Collectors Co-op, and we have the record sale at the VFW every 2 months. So there's just a lot of collectors, a lot of dealers in this city, and it's a great place. Plus there's a really vibrant local music scene, and people are putting out their local, Minneapolis bands are putting out records on vinyl, which is great for us and great for them to have that we can be a place where they can sell their stuff. So 3 years ago, we had a big show at the old space and then moved, and then 2 years ago, this is our third block party. So we close off the street next to us and have a stage outside, and we have 15 bands playing both inside and outside. It's a little bit crazy because even though Record Store Day is always the third Saturday in April, we live in Minnesota. It's going to snow tomorrow. It's going to be cold, and it has snowed during our block party before. And we just, it's Minnesota. People make the best of it. It's spring, and it might snow. So we wish the weather could be nicer, but we can't control when it is. I think in a couple years it's on the 16th of April, so that makes me nervous. But we always have a really big party, and yeah, it's a really great time. Yeah, and we try to involve a lot of local businesses too. People I just picked up from the little garden store seed bombs that they want to give away. People give away CDs. The Noiseland Industries is this local. It's not a label. They produce vinyl, so they're giving away a local compilation with. If you buy a local record, a Minneapolis band record, you get a free compilation from Noiseland Industries this year, so that's really cool. Yeah, we will have a ton of stuff on sale. So we normally have 50-cent and $1 records. All that's going to be 10 cents. We've got a puppet show coming. We've got a beer tent that's going to be here as part of the block party, and then inside there'll be a bunch of bands. It's a really crazy day, and one of the garden centers is going to be selling plants and stuff. So we're trying to make it all about spring, but. It's hard with the snow that's still on the ground. We've got local artists too, Dave Witt and Ben Krikova and Vinyl Afterlife. They'll be selling their wares. So we've got some artists, and Rogue Citizen is going to be here. They're painting. Some of the bands. Chastity Brown is going to play, Penny Royal and the Ericksons, Big Quarters and Audio Perm, Southside Desire. For Dave and I, it's our anniversary party. We ask all of our favorite bands to play, and so it's all in our opinion, the coolest local bands that we could get here. So I'm trying to think of who else. The day before, on Friday, Charlie Barr is going to be here. He's a really great musician. He's unfortunately has to be in Kentucky on Saturday, otherwise he'd be here during the block party. But he's going to do an in-store on Friday afternoon, so we're actually kicking it off a little early, which is fun. A lot of people, I think, are going to come and scope out where the Record Store Day release vinyl will be in our store on that Friday night, so they can plan their strategy. For us, it's about being a part of the community, a collecting community. I love my customers. We have some of the best customers in the world. I have customers who come in weekly, every week, and spend hours here. I know these people. I love these people, and I feel supported by them because they buy records from me, and there's a lot of ways you can spend 3 hours on a Friday afternoon. I appreciate that they spend it with me. It's a good habit to have. People are always like, oh, I spent too much money, and it's well, you could have drank that money, or you could have put that money somewhere else. Thank you for supporting me in my small business. And I always joke that I live in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. I mean, I run into the mail lady at the local pub. I see the furniture store lady at the cafe next door. record stores are important, but local, independently owned businesses are important. It's really fun to be a business owner in a small community with a bunch of other independently owned stores. Absolutely. And it's kind of funny how important our customers are to, like, someone, you get to know a person with their tastes, and you see them every month or every week, and you know what they like, and then you remember, oh, he was looking for that Black Sabbath record. It's good to see you, Jim. I got that Black Sabbath record you wanted. I always hang on to stuff because I know, if I see something like Sabbath come through and I know someone's been searching and searching for it, I try to remember those things. We used to keep a list, but it's impossible. Everybody wants to be on that list, so I just try to remember it all, and every now and again I get it right. So the independent record store industry change, well, it's good and it's bad. Small stores do go out of business. A lot of stores do sell online, and I don't. eBay's really tricky. It can hurt and it can be good. It's good because people are like, oh, it's still collecting records, and if you are a dedicated record collector, eBay's the place to find some of the stuff that you won't find in your local store. But at the same time, it makes me have to price stuff a little bit higher than I would want to. It seems kind of backwards, but like, a customer will come in to sell records and say, I saw this on eBay, this is worth $25. For me, it's not worth $25. I have a store to run, I have an overhead, I can't pay that person $25, but I have to pay them more because they saw that price online, and so I have to mark it up more. So it's hard, I think, sometimes to have those online dealers selling records online, and I don't know if that's why some of the smaller shops have gone out of business, if online buying is a part of that, but I feel like, like I said, it's a really good time to own a record store because people are really passionate about owning records and collecting records. Most of my customers are young guys, like 20 to 40-year-old guys. So it's a collector thing. It's fun to collect records, as it should be. Just like it's fun to collect anything, I'm sure. But I happen to like collecting records. So this record store day thing, look at the number of titles that are out there right now. 5 years ago when it started, it was like, 30 titles or something like that. Now it's hundreds and hundreds of pages and pages of all these things. You have to choose what to order and all this stuff. Hymies was traditionally only used vinyl, not new vinyl at all. So when we took over, we started carrying local records and then started saying, oh, they make reissues. Let's buy some reissues. Just test the water to see if these sell. And they do. And it's really great for people who want that Curtis Mayfield record because, hey, that's really hard to find sometimes, and you just can get a nice reissue copy. The diggers are still going to dig and find those originals, but it's nice to have, like, for a person who's passionate about music, it's nice to have the ability to buy reissued vinyl, new vinyl, and then, the big hitters, the Neil Youngs and Bob Dylans, they always put their records out on vinyl, as they should, and they'll keep doing that, and that's nice. But also in pop music, isn't Katy Perry's record on vinyl? I know Lady Gaga's is, and Lady Gaga's records are, so I definitely have seen growth, and I think it's really, like, a cool thing now. Oh, I'm a record collector. Lady came in, I guess I shouldn't call her lady, she was a high school girl, she was adorable. She came in, she looked around, and then she came up to the counter and said, can you help me? And I said, sure, what do you need? She said, I've never listened to a record, but I really want to. Can you help me? Like, I feel like I'm missing something. I said, okay, what do you want to listen to? She had no idea. Just no, I was like, okay, well, let's go on classic rock. Here, do you see anything you recognize? She's like, I know who the Doors are. Okay. So I go over to the listening station, help her put it on. She listened. Most people, when they go to the listening station, listen to, the tracks they want to hear, make sure it's not scratched. She listened to the whole thing, the whole side, and took it off and brought it back and said, thank you. That was so cool. And then she left. Like, it was so awesome to be like, you're like 15. I just helped you listen to your first record. But, like, people my age are, I was born in the 80s, and my parents had records, but my siblings didn't really. Like, I was right at the end. I bought my first CD when I was, like, 8, But people my age now, I have kids, we're starting to have kids, and my kids don't know how to put a CD on, but they know how to put a record on. So, like, my kids have their own box of 45s, their own box of those Disney storybook records. And I know a lot of people who do that with their kids. We have those Fisher-Price players, those little ones. Yeah, the portables. And it's really fun because, just like anything, when you're a parent, helping your kid discover something cool, it's just like riding a roller coaster. It's fun, but if you get to do it with your kid, it's so fun. They're going to feel weird learning how to burn a CD when they're older because they don't know how to do that. They know how to make a mixtape. Mm-hmm. So it's weird. That's a lost art. And maybe I'm just a total hipster and I am just like so geeky for doing this to my poor children. But I think kids today should learn about, and that's what's really great about, hey, Katy Perry fans are going to be like, I'll buy the vinyl. I can't play it, but it comes with a download. Okay. So they'll still buy something because it's, it feels like that substantial piece of art. They can put the record on their wall and then play that download code. So you know, they don't see us going away, because people are so passionate about music. They love listening to records. It's such a fun thing to do. I can't imagine that eventually it'll all just be big box stores, because there are so many people producing music right now. There's no way that businesses like ours could go away. I hope.